All right, let's hear from a few more people via Discord. You can, of course, find our Discord at davidpakman.com/Discord. We are going to go to Aaron from Michigan. Aaron from Michigan, welcome to the program. What's on your mind today?
Hey, David, thanks for having me on.
My pleasure.
So I want to kind of build on what the last guy was talking about when we talk about the lies being told in the media or by Trump. Um, so first of all, I want to start with I think I disagree with you somewhat on the economy being an issue. I know you're saying, hey, when I look at these economic factors, I see the economy is doing well, and I agree with you to some extent that a lot of the traditional factors we look at when we think about how the economy is doing, we say these are good under Biden. I think one factor that's kind of been a consistent and is becoming an increasing problem for Americans is the income inequality issue,
Right.
right? And I don't think that's changing, right? So I think it is the economy still, right? James Carville, it's the economy stupid. I think it is the economy still.
Yep.
But I think the root cause of the Trump issue, right? We still see 50% of people, right, voting for it. It looks like, all the latest polls I've seen in the battleground states, Trump is winning if the election were to occur today. The best data we have says Trump is the winner. And I think this is an education problem, right? And I think you've correctly identified that with the children's books you wrote. I think that was a great step. But I guess I wonder why there isn't more emphasis and rhetoric around education. I understand it's not sexy, but I think that is what is going to wake us up from this collective nightmare. And I think the solution is likely generations away, but it will not start until we start getting more serious about the education, right? The populace needs to be educated enough to critically think for themselves and come to the conclusions themselves and understand the difference between truth and lie, right? And I just see over the years the rhetoric around, hey, Trump is bad. I don't think we've successfully deprogrammed anyone from this cult. And again, I think that's due to the education. So why don't we see more rhetoric around that?
I completely agree with you. And I think that it's certainly possible that mainstream Democratic talking points about this aren't going to say this is a cult that must be deprogrammed and we should do it through education, because the right already says that education is merely left wing indoctrination. So if a mainstream Democrat starts saying these people are in a cult and we got to fix it through educating them out of it, the right wingers will go, this is why we need private schools. This is why we need parents involved in it would, in a very deceptive, bad faith way, it would, quote, prove the point that they are trying to make. Obviously, you are correct. We prevent people from even getting sucked into cults like MAGA with better education, critical thinking, epistemology, philosophy, media literacy. Of course, it's undeniably true. And also, Republicans would seize on that if it started to become a mainstream Democratic talking point, because they already are insisting that education is nothing but liberal indoctrination. So you see the conundrum, right?
No, 100%. I agree with that. And actually,
Yeah.
if I may offer this criticism to you, in your critical thinking book, you kind of took a shot at Trump in there. And I thought to myself, boy, this would be a great book for every child to have, but this
Right.
just gives more fuel to the indoctrination fire
Yeah, it's
when
just
we
a
have
joke.
that in there,
It's
right?
just a joke in the
I
book.
hear you.
The second book doesn't have anything like that. And we could do a version of the first book where the kid doesn't look like a child version of Trump. We could do it. I don't think that that's the pinnacle of determining whether we're going to solve this problem, but it's a fair criticism.
No, I agree with you 100% on that. But thank you for taking my call, David. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. There is Aaron from Michigan. Let's go next to, oh, I don't know. How about Ryan from Auburn, who is also a website member? I appreciate that, Ryan. Welcome.
Hey, David. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, but yeah, I'm actually glad to be a member now. Listening to the bonus show, love it.
Good. Thank
Um,
you.
I actually wanted to follow up on a conversation we had last time. So last time we talked about AI, and since our conversation, you had posted a video where someone took your video and made an AI voice version with Tucker Carlson. I wanted to know if what thoughts you had had since then on it, and and sort of the direction of AI, since now it's sort of happened to you.
Yeah, I mean the one video where someone took my video and turned my voice into Tucker Carlson, it hasn't changed my overall view about AI. I mean, listen, one of the things I believe about AI is we're not going to stop the development of it. The people who are saying just stop everything, I didn't believe it was going to happen 2 months ago, and I still don't believe that that's going to happen. I still believe
Right.
that there are lots of great things that will come from it, and there are also potentially scary things that we need to deal with. You know, I am becoming more focused on what are the ways to tip the balance so that we get as much of the good with as little of the bad. But my view on AI hasn't changed because of the one time someone took my voice and tweaked it to make me sound like Tucker.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I guess what I meant was, if you had any other thoughts on that video, since then. But I guess just to continue a little bit, um, it's interesting. I thought it was going to be harder to do something like that, but
Yep.
once I heard that video, I said, you know what? If some random person on the internet can figure that out, I could do it too. So I go online and realize, oh my gosh, this takes anybody with an average computer skill like 5 minutes to do.
Right.
Like,
I'm
it's
guessing what you would do is you would go to a voice. Here's how I would do it if I wanted to do the Tucker thing, right? I would go to a voice cloning site, and then I would
yeah.
upload 2 minutes of the actual Tucker speaking. And then I would feed it my video and I would say, please clone the voice to the Tucker voice, but keep the cadence and the speech the same. And my guess is in 60 seconds, it spits it out.
That's basically it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's basically that easy.
Yep.
Um, and I was also going to mention there's sort of a Babelfish version too, where I didn't test this out because
Hmm.
it does cost a little, like you have to pay for a membership. It's like $20 a month. I just didn't feel like trying it.
Yep.
But you could theoretically do your own voice and switch it to Spanish, and you could post a Spanish video that way.
Yeah, people
Um,
have said the people who make some of that technology have actually sent me samples, and it's so funny because I'm Argentinian, and the Spanish, they sent it to me with like an actual Spanish accent, and it was very surreal hearing myself speak in Spain Spanish. But yeah, I have seen that. It's very interesting.
yeah, yeah, no, it is interesting, but
Yeah.
yeah, that was just a thought I had, but hey, I appreciate you chatting with me again, and that was really all I had for today.
All right, Ryan from Auburn, great to hear from you.